Hey guys, it's Graham. What's cracking? Sweating my brains out in this Oklahoma humidity. It is now May. Holy crap. And on my DOT break, figured I would share with you my thoughts on the comic Moonshine Bigfoot from Image. I grabbed a copy of it on Free Comic Book Day. It wasn't among the free comic samplings, but I try to do more of this thing where I just browse the shelves and buy something off the shelves. Like, I know how hard it is to kind of get discovered as a writer and as an artist and stuff, and there's all kinds of new stuff coming out all the time. And like, rather than wait for the ads to market something at me, it's like, well, why don't I just do it the old-fashioned way? I want to go to the store and look at things on the shelf and say, this looks interesting. I'll reward it with my curiosity. After all, that's how I found Ghost Machine in early 2024, and I've loved everything of theirs that I've bought. Not everything they put out. I wasn't able to get into their Hyde Street stuff just because horror is not my bag. But all of the unnamed stuff and the Hornsby and Halo has been really enjoyable. So I figured I'd take a flyer on this and see what I thought. The concept is suitably bonkers. The art is really good. I would say that some of the line weight is a little bit heavy and really, really dense even. It's almost like they blew it up to twice the size that it would normally be and then drew a ton of detail in there and then shrank it down digitally. And the result is that, even in print, the ink work looks a little bit saturated, but there's also an evenness and a consistency to it that makes it readable. It's just it kind of contributes to like the unique visual character of how this comic is told. This is the first of what's going to be 4 issues. And it's on the pricier side. Issue 1 was $5. I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end. But if you want to look at the screen, I'm actually going to throw a few slideshow type images up here. The premise, they get right into it at the very beginning. It's set in 1981, but about 20 years before that, that's when Moonshine, who's the main character, he's a little Sasquatch baby. There's a forest fire in the Pacific Northwest, and his little Sasquatch parents pull a Moses, and they put him in the back of a logging truck up there, and they don't make it out of the fire, but little baby Squatch is in the logging truck, which then goes from Washington to Georgia, to Buzzard County. If that name stands out to you, just wait a second. He falls off the back of the wagon, and he ends up in the swamps. And then he becomes, he obviously grows up to become Moonshine Bigfoot. He's intelligent, he wears human clothes, he speaks English and all of that. He's just, he's a good old southern swamp boy, but for all intents and purposes, he's human, but he's a Squatch. And from there, the story jumps right into him moonshining, and this is where you might make some aesthetic parallel comparisons here. This comic book is 100% trying to be Dukes of Hazzard. All right, you got the main character who runs moonshine in dry counties. The fact that it's set in early 1981 removes some of the technological hazards that you would have trying to set the story in the 2020s. But for now, it's set roughly 40 years in the past. So that adds to, again, the overall aesthetic and the atmosphere of it. You've got classic rock, southern rock, kind of still at its heyday. Cars are analog, there's low tech, and there's country bumpkins out in the sticks that are slapping together hot rods and running from the fuzz. But in the periphery of all that, there's also a super mega corporation called Big Level that is trying to catch a Sasquatch. And they've heard rumors, or they've got some degree of confirmation that there's one down in the swamps of Georgia. And so this first issue is all about introducing Moonshine Bigfoot, the utter insane hot rod Mach 1 Mustang that he drives, his store brand Daisy Duke girlfriend named Amethyst, and then competing hot rod moonshiners and the not Boss Hog, not Sheriff Roscoe character chasing him down. Like, all of those elements are there, and they're familiar, and they're entertaining enough. And I'm fine with a story trying to catch a feeling and do something unique on its own with it. I will say that as an introductory issue, by the time I got to the end, I was like, I feel like there was an equal amount of things that I really liked about this and things that really didn't do it for me. And as I chewed on that, tried to distill it all and figure out, like, okay, what is it that bugs me about this? I think back to an episode in like season 3 of The Mandalorian, like the season that I really didn't care for, and it was the one where they had Lizzo and Jack Black as guest stars, and like Jack Black's performance especially really took me out. It was like his character was joking about the fact that he was in Star Wars. He was mugging for the camera, and it felt like he was just trying to wink to the audience with every line of dialogue and all of that. Like it took me out. You've got to have some sort of sincerity, some degree of earnestness, and an immersive quality to really sell it. Like you're trying to take this seriously while also being completely breaks off with your creativity. Like, we're going to write about a Sasquatch who drives a hot rod in the swamps of Georgia in a knockoff version of Hazzard County, and all of that is going to play as serious as a heart attack, except they forgot that last part. You know, the fact that his girlfriend is trying to drop cutesy one-liners about current day-isms while she's painting her toenails while he's jumps out in the swamps and stuff. Like, it all looked really, really visually impressive. It was an explosion of color. The art was very crisp and detailed, and you can tell that there's a lot of cool stuff that they can do with this. They were setting the table with the characters and the cars and the places and stuff. We've got our hero. We've got his antagonists. The table is set. I really hope that the next couple of issues are good on this. Excuse me. But that said, with this being a $5 book, I'm not that motivated to go and buy it every month for $5 for the rest of the summer and spend $20 on a series that overall, like, in the end, I might be kind of iffy about. Especially because, and here's my way out on this, Image does digital comics through my local library. And I was like, well, okay, cool. I can just grab some Image books then. I can use a couple of my, like, I've got limited checkouts, which is kind of annoying. Like, there are 2 different apps and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you can get a book immediately rather than having to wait weeks or months to get it, but there's only a limited quantity of times you can do that in a month. I guess that's how they keep that from completely rating them. But the point is that if it's through the library, then I assume that there's still some compensation for the artist and the writer and stuff. And so it doesn't break the bank for me, and I also mitigate the risk of getting to the end and just not liking it. So overall, like, colorful, energetic, fun. Again, I keep using that expression, breaks off on the creativity. I like that. I like that they're not limiting themselves, but there's a key element to this where you've got to take it seriously. Like, you've got to buy in to your own concept here. And I want them just to take it maybe like 15% more seriously and play it straight, and not try to wink at the reader with, hey, look, we're doing Hazzard Country. It's like, those who know will know. That's fine. Make your own thing and make it real along the way, even if it's something as crazy as a Moonshine Bigfoot. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Other than that, like, I liked it, and I want to read the next one. I'm wary of getting to the end and being let down. So I'll go the library route with this one. Anyway, that's today's video. Drive safe. See you out there.